I'm lighting a little Palo Santo. It's very clearing for any negativity, and it helps with anxiety too. I like to do the back of the neck. A lot of tension is held there. Anyway, today I'm doing something different. I'm going to talk about some of the dreams and premonitions I've had, um, because a lot of the things I've predicted over decades have come true. So I thought I'd share with you because there's been something going on for months now. It's an underlying feeling of tension in the atmosphere. It's a feeling of anticipation, like something really big is coming. So, about less than 5 years ago, in 2019 November, mid-November, I have to actually look up the date, but I was told that devastation is coming and I would need a mask. And little did I think it would play out the way it did. I thought perhaps it was an earthquake, and that's why I would need the masks that were sent to me, 8 of them, KN99s, by Amazon by mistake. Then, just when I'm getting used to everything being the way it is and adapting to the change and pulling out the remnants of my life and looking at what the positive things that have happened out of it, because I would look at, like, well, I was going full speed on everything, overworking and running everywhere. So it was kind of good to have that time to slow down. And because we couldn't meet indoors, I was meeting outside with a lot of friends. I was dining outside, going for walks in nature. And I said, wow, I really like this. And I really finally adjusted to teaching on Zoom. It took a while, but I really like it. I really like it a lot. My students like it a lot. And I said, well, some really good things came out of this. So just when I was saying, wow, I could breathe now, we're kind of getting back to normal. I've got the pieces of my life from the past adapted in a new way, and I was happy with that. And just when I was feeling like it's going to be, it's going to be okay, again, I had a clairaudient experience similar to the one I had 2.5 years earlier. And it said, that's more is coming. And I don't know what more means, but more big things are more big, worldwide, affecting everyone, is coming. And that to take the 2020 as and the rest of the years after that, to take that as a way of adapting and getting used to change, because big changes are coming. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be horrible. Just like I could look at things in retrospect. I mean, I lost a lot of people, but I know where they are. I do have communication on the other side of the veil. So I know they went back home. And we're the ones that are left without their physical presence. But they're okay. They're okay. And they signed up for that. And I know what's going to happen very soon that a lot of people signed up for. In fact, we all signed up for it. Some of us signed up for the ride, the adventure, the ability to learn and act out a lot in this life reality play, this so-called reality play that we're in, and gather information and experience and work with our emotions and create and manifest. And then others are going elsewhere, they're going to a certain point, just like what happened in a few years ago. A lot of the things I saw in my dreams. So I had the clairaudient experience with the masks and physically being sent them by mistake. And and then hearing this voice on the inner, just like very much in here and just on the inside of my ear. It is very, very stern, but not scary, but very commanding, very commanding. And I always get that clairaudient voice from the same being. I mean, it saved my mom's life twice. It was not scary, but boy, it's stern and you jump and do what it says. I'll tell you about those in another story, but I just want to get everyone realize that now is the time to tune in. Now is the time, particularly this autumn of 2024 through early winter. We're going to have a lot of changes from now through the holidays. I don't know what they are. I can tell you some of my dreams. I've had a lot of flooding dreams. A lot of flooding dreams. I've had dreams where the geography of the planet shifts. And in fact, the poles shift. And in fact, the poles have been shifting. They have been shifting because the North Pole used to be in Canada. And now, go check it out on the internet. It's moving over to Russia. It's not like it was when I was young. So also the inside core of the Earth is slowing down from its spinning. So that's another thing you could look up, but that's not part of my dream. My dream is talking about the geography changing, the flooding that happens, the sloshing of the water in the ocean. Like it's not like normal waves. Like there are waves, but there's these really high water table and everything just kind of sloshes. And it carves out huge dunes in the Jersey Shore, which if you go there right now, the land is flat up into the boardwalk or up into the dunes. It's flat, it's long, flat beaches. And this looks more like what I saw in North Carolina on the other side where the sunset is on Jockey's Point, or when you're in the desert, big, huge dunes. So I keep having these dreams about the ocean, about going down there and just how the water just sloshes. Everything is very gloomy and dark and cloudy, yet people are still there checking it out. They're all checking it out. They're not like having fear, they're just there in spite of it all. So sometimes I wonder if this dream is a metaphor, like an emotional metaphor, rather than a physical happening. So it's hard to tell. I am going to do some card readings on it, but right now I just want to talk about it and some of the other things I see coming. In fact, if you're an intuitive out there, if you're a psychic and you're having the same dreams and clairaudient, clairvoyance and such, please comment. Please go in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. In fact, I'd like to collaborate with some of you and see if we can piece together what's going to happen and how to best prepare for it. So as far as talking about how to prepare for it, right? If there's flooding, I actually prepared my basement, which was already having some issues, and make it flood proof pretty much. And then I also, because if there's flooding, the water table in the reservoir is going to be different. Things could be contaminated. So I went, when these dreams started happening, I went and bought an imitation Berkey gravity fed water filter that you can even use creek water. Just another caution, just to be practical. I bought a lot. I buy I buy sparkling water in cans whenever I see it on sale, so I have a huge supply of that if I and I also have a water filter, really good water filter. I've always had for about 40 years I've had a water filter on my, whatever apartment I went to, or here in my home. I've taken it with me. So I've had that coming right out. So I have that handled, so if certain things, I want to have my other iPhone was acting a little wonky. I said I want to make sure I have a newer iPhone if shipping is an issue. If we can't get what we need, and kind of just get practical things that we may not be able to get if there's a lot of disruption in the seas. I have a feeling there'll be some volcanic activity. That's I feel that. So you just want to be prepared, have some extra food on hand, and as well as water. Have some books to read in case the electrical systems are disrupted, because I also have some issues, visions about that. What else? Have a good spiritual practice, whatever it may be. I mean, it might be prayer, might be walking in the woods if you're not in the same belief system, feeling that prayer will help. Everyone finds their own way to connect with spirit. So I like prayer. I also like walking in the woods. I like walking along the beach. But the most important thing is every once in a while, just get quiet and go within. Don't be in such a rush for everything. Slow down and listen on the inner. Just really listen. If you can write down your dreams. You can journal. If you can remember your dreams, you can write them out. Because I think we're coming into a time where instead of just kind of going along in your own world and being busy and focused on career, or focused, God forbid, on division and politics and hatred, or who's different than you, I hope you're focusing on the unity and what we're more alike than different. Find the things we all love. We all, well, not all of us, but I think most of us love peace, right? Most of us love peace. Most of us love truth. Most of us, right? We may have a different idea of what that is. Of course, most of us love beauty, and we can appreciate beauty wherever it may be, in the flowers, in the sky, in the moon, in the stars, in the smile of another person, seeing the divinity within them. And really get to know your neighbors. This is going to be a time when we're going to rely heavily in coming together with our neighbors and greater community. So rather than panic and be caught off guard, I'm just asking my viewers, I mean, obviously you all believe in the psychic realm because you're tuning into me, reading cards on the collective and reading cards on, now I'm reading cards on celebrities. I'm actually having fun with it. I know you all really enjoy it. I did not know I could connect to someone without hearing their voice and having their permission, but I seem to be connecting to their lives based on the validation I receive from the fans. So, and I know by being a psychic and reading for people on Monday and Tuesday evenings, I've had a lot of spirit come through for the people I read for. And the one thing I want to tell everyone as you go through these times is everyone that I've read for has someone who has their back, and not just one person or one guide or one angel, but several. And when I'm reading, I actually have experiences where loved ones will like touch my back or hold the sides of my shoulders or come within my heart, or even one of them got frisky and kissed the back of my neck. I felt it. I told the woman what was going on. It was really tender. It wasn't overt, but it was very loving and very sweet. And she had just lost someone who did that who that was their signal. And she was going through a really hard time, a lot of changes, and everything in the cards showed up. I mean, I didn't know this person. I knew nothing, and I just did a cold reading on her, and the cards connected, my guides to her guides, and told the story. And her team came through. Her team on the other side of the veil came through to let her know that even though she's going through a lot of hardship, a lot of changes, a lot of physical moving and everything, loss of career, and the loss of people passing away, loss of job, everything, money, everything, that all these a lot came through. I was overwhelmed that night. I think 4 or 5 loved deceased ones came through. It was a bit of an overload. I had to recover. But everyone has that because I've been witnessing it. And they want to help you. When you think of them with love, they're there watching you. So whenever you think of your loved ones who you miss, take a moment and just be quiet, just be still. See if you hear anything on the inner, or you can automatic write. You could just journal and see what comes out. You can do that with your guides. I'm always asking for guidance all my life. Maybe that's how I ended up being a psychic ever since I'm little, asking for guidance. What am I doing on this planet? It's so different than where I was. This other realm, I remember it. So I think it's important that we realize there are many dimensions, there are many beings physically present, non-physically present, and we can always ask for help and guidance. And then when we have to navigate these rocky changes of the sloshy water and whatever else may come in, there are many things actually happening. I'll talk about that more later, but I just wanted to share the experience about the flooding with you right now. The short-term flooding, there's going to be some more long-term with the continents changing. And I'll talk about that in the next video and how the geography changes. But for now, I'm just talking about the one where the coastline is still there, and everyone's experiencing that change with the water and all the rainfall that's going to be happening. And it's already been happening, a lot of severe weather. And that you need to stay tuned inside yourself, go within, right? Calm down, breathe. Make friends with your neighbors now, right? Just make friends, bring them something from your garden. Get to know your neighbors now, not in the midst of panic. Bring them some flowers, bring them some produce from your garden, make them a pie, make them cookies. If they don't have a car, offer them a ride to the grocery store, things like that. Uh, you'll get to know some really nice people who maybe you didn't think were as nice as they are as well. Maybe sometimes you shut people out or judge them, or you're just busy. But as you get to know people, you see the divinity within them. You see that spark, that child of God, even in the oldest of people. It's so beautiful. So please let me know your comments. I'd love to hear from you. This is a little different. I'm going to make some more I'm going to talk about 2019 and what happened to me in depth. All right, take care. Thank you. And please share this video. It'll help people. Thank you.